Hello all and welcome to today's watercolour painting. I'll take it steady until I see some people in the group and watching. Don't know if anybody's going to be here, but we'll crack on with it and you can watch it later if you don't get it now. So what I intend to do today, directly in front of you obviously, is I believe it's a Tuscan village in Italy, and they have these really nice houses on the hills with all these lovely green areas around them. There's a bit of a mountain there in the background. I don't know what that mountain is, but we'll be putting that in, and we'll have a leisurely sky. It won't be particularly moody today, but we'll try and hey Chrissy, we'll try and put a nice sky in and blend it all in. And in the foreground, there's a bit of foreground interest. The light will be coming from this direction, so everything on this right side will be light and everything on the left side will be dark. So it's a fairly basic and simple painting. You can follow along. I've got the reference image. Hiya Goswina, nice to see you. So the reference image is a free one that if you want it, let me know and I can send it you and you can have a go yourself, because it's although the drawing's a bit complicated, the painting shouldn't be too complicated. So let's have a look at first of all, the paper is Eine Mule, 300 grams or £140 for our friends in America. It's not cold press, so that's the paper, and it's like I say, it's Eine Mule paper, reasonably priced, and although it's not one of the greatest papers on the face of the planet, it does the job. So what we're going to do, I'm probably just going to use these two brushes today. My big fluffy mop brush, and this one for doing the detailing after. It's not far off A4 size. Let's just have a look if I can find a tape measure. I can't find a tape measure. Yes, I can. So let's just have a quick look. It's 12 inches or 30 centimeters by yeah, I'd say just under, just slightly smaller than an A4 size. But you could put it on an A4 size piece of paper easily, this painting. So, and if you do want this, I can send you the sketch that I did as well. I can photocopy that, and you can just put it straight down onto a painting. So, right, I'm going to use these papers because these paints, because I'm wanting to get used to this new palette, and these are all white nights, but I've added some new pastel colours to it and moved things around a little bit, so I've got a more versatile palette. Obviously I won't be using all of these colours, but there are one or two very key colours in the palette. So the only other thing we really need is where's my dab rag? Always important to have a dab rag somewhere close to get rid of excess water, and a bit more control with your paper towel. So I'm going to put that there, out of the way, and we're going to make a start. If I can get myself comfortable. There we go. Don't feel like you can't ask questions if you need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really cover especially the sky area, and then we're going to bring that down quite a bit, and then I'm going to bring it about as far as there, and we're going to concentrate on that upper area first. So I've got like a grey colour, what you might call what do they call it now, like a buff titanium. Excuse me a second. Here we go. I'm going to put that across the sky first. Hi Madonna. So we're gonna get this across like that, and I'm going to bring that right down. I'm going to even bring it down here as well. This first layer is to not only does it cover the paper for you, it kind of brings the painting together as a whole. So it's important that we get this layer reasonably good. So down here we're going to get a bit of greeniness. While it's all still wet, we've got to try and work it while it's wet. And just don't worry about going over things like that. It's not, at this moment in time, it's not critically important, any of that. So we've got that area. We're just creating areas of value. I'm gonna get a little bit of purpley colour and bring that there, and then do that area, and then again exactly the same thing. And we've got like a joined up area now. I'm now going to get a little bit of peachy colour and a little bit of that titanium white or whatever it is, that off white, and a bit of peachy colour, and I'm going to do that area there and that. And I'm not being, you know, overly careful about this. You just get it chucked on. Don't matter if it goes over. At this stage it's not a critical thing. Just a second while I'm setting some other bits up. I can see you a bit better now. Yeah, it's like a little in club, isn't it? Right. Then there's some there, and I'm going to put some there. And while that's still wet, I'm going to see if I can darken it up a bit, and put some dark area over that bit, and a dark area over that, and see if we can get some dark bits there. Just dibbing and dabbing. Only other area we want to play with now is this area, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if I can do it a bit dry brush. There we go, and just that like that. Now what I want to do, I get a little bit of purpley red. Do that there, and then that's your first roof. Is it a bit dark there? Tell me if it's a little bit dark, because it looks a bit, it light's fading on me, I think. So I might have to make some adjustments. I'll just wait till you've answered me on that one, because I can put light on a bit and move that up a bit. That's not good. Right, I'm just going to make some alterations with the video. Because we're rapidly losing light. Try and alter that there. And there we go. Who says you can't do adjustment during a live? There we go. Right. Unfortunately, on the fly, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. Right, so while that's still wet, I'll just start getting some blue element into the sky. Let me just get rid of some windows. There we go. Good. It's a little bit glary though. Unfortunately, I can't help that because I'm working off a light now. So I'm gonna get me blue in. Get some more in. And these are actually very opaque. In a short while, I'm going to put the dryer over, but we'll continue on with what we were doing with the roofs. Now, most of these roofs, they're very like samey. So I'm just going to dab in areas where it's going to be that kind of colour, and then like that, and blobs of potential colours here and there, that just to represent the roof itself. Get some more, get a little bit more here. Tap that out a bit. And that's like a, so what I've used there is like a mauvey colour for the light, and the other side I've used mauve again, but I've added like a burgundy red over the top of it. Hi Gail, nice to see you. Hello Nell. Hi JCT, nice to see you all here. And that really is, I think, the painting blocked in, although I have got one little bit of area that I've missed, that I've not done. That there. Just get that in there briefly. And one more little area. And that's that there. literally. I'm not really bothered about whether it runs over or it doesn't run over. In fact, that's a bonus if it does. Get a little bit more of that mauve there, and a little bit of that burgundy reddish colour. Maybe that's a bit strong. Knock that back a bit. And there's a little bit there. And that is it. That's it blocked in. So what I need to do now is spend a bit of time using my dryer. So I've got to set my dryer up. I won't be a second. Oh, here we go. Dryer is ready. So how are we all getting on? I'm just gonna mute out a second or two. Right, next level. So now we've got that all blocked in. Oh dear, no. Surprise! Hey up, Joe. I'm going to get a bit of this light blue. I'm going to dip it in with a little bit darker. And like that. And then get a little bit of towel like that, and it gives you a nice interesting pattern. So next thing to do, I'm going to tap off my brush, and we're going to do this faraway mountain. That faraway mountains should always be very, very, very dull. There should be barely any colour in it at all. It's almost a grey colour. So, but you don't want it that weak that you can't see it. So I'm gonna put a lot of emphasis on that side, and then just dribble, 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 dribble. Like that. Maybe a little bit there. And that greyness actually comes quite a bit like that. But that's on another side of her nil. But that has a little bit of green in it. Teeny weeny bit of green. And that's because it's closer to us. And then as you get progressively closer, you get more green and lighter. So I'm putting really, really light greens in now. Now, when you get to a certain point with this, you start seeing details. So that kind of technique, you need to start saying, well, it served its purpose. Like that. So this is where you start to get your trees coming in, and don't bring them in straight away. So I'm going to get a mixture of an ultramarine blue and a yellow, and I'm going to start going like that. Just random blobs, using all sorts of different parts of shapes of your, even like that. As you get here, you can see individual trees. Pretty much similar around there, if you can. And we'll go over this another time or two. Let's see if we can just get the odd in that middle distance, the idea that there's still some of that you can see, but don't be overdoing it in that sense. There you go. So we've got this background fairly much done. It's time now to start getting some detail in there. What are you talking about, you guys? So let's re-emphasize certain things. That roof. I'm good. Doing all the dark side roofs. Dark side. And I'm really not not overly stressing about it. So, like buildings in the background, they're not going to have that much work done to them. It stands to reason that there's not going to be that much. You're not going to see much at all. So, I think we're not that far away from getting to the point where we can start getting some grey tones in. So, start bringing some deep browns in and mixing that in with some blue, if we can. So, either a burnt umber or a raw sienna or something like that, and that gives us an area like that. And all this area here is shaded to some greater degree. There's a little bit of area that I've that is very shaded. In fact, actually, this building here casts a shadow on that, like that, which is a good link point. because we always want to try and link things if we possibly can. Just gonna a little bit that I've left out there. And we'll keep applying this area here in a dark area as well, and we can use that to also give some idea of buildings. We're really not at this area here, we're not really painting anything that looks like a building. We're just creating shapes and lines to try and explain it a bit, but not to any great extent. So while we're in that area, there are some trees dotted about, so we'll emphasize that. Let's get some of that dark area there. We're starting to build up dark, and there's that there as well. I'm going to start to, I'm going to stop using this brush soon, and once I feel we've got most of the slog work done, get a little bit of bit like that. It could have been pretty. It could have been, yeah, but I do these in an hour, so you know you got to work with time scale you've got. And yeah, I could make this really pretty if I wanted to, but it's a lesson in loosening up, really, this more than anything else. Now, if we come back here, I left this area light because there's a little building there, and I just want to do a little bit with that. And that's where these opaque colours come in, because it's got no problem with areas like that. Let's see if I can give a little bit of. How you actually do your paintings is really down to you as an artist. Some people might want to do this in a very detailed way. I get that, yeah. That's an individual person's style. I tend to go for a fairly loose feel in my paintings, as do most professional watercolour artists. It's very rare that you see detail to any great extent in a watercolour painting. Right, let's see if we can add some more colours to this building on his left hand side. Bit of grey there, a little bit. That's like that. What I really want to do now is start looking at the detail, believe it or not. Although there is a lot of detail to be done. So the detailing is a fairly dark thing. So I'm going to mix up. A good thing for detailing is a Payne's grey or something like that. But I'm going to lighten it up a little bit with some of that titanium buff titanium, or whatever you want to call it, and start looking at areas of the painting that need little bits of detail put in it. Like this, for example, there's a drain pipe. There's I'm gonna and little lines, little areas, just to emphasise that there's other bits of buildings in different places. And doorways, and they don't have to be like, you know, absolutely perfect. They're just squiggles that represent things. Can't really see any detail in there. Just try to emphasise various bits. Yeah, I'm not far off from finishing, to be honest with you. We're down to detail work. It shows you how quickly you can actually establish a painting if you think carefully about how you set it out in the first place. And it's all down to that, really. Just gonna. And really, the details of these, like windows and things like that. If we can get some dark areas in. It's always nice to get an interesting bit of contrast in your work. And with sun in hot countries like this, it kind of like burns out a lot of the detail and colour in the direction where it's coming from. So you really don't need to put too much detailing in on the front or the sun facing area. Just gonna make sure that you know that that's and get rid of that a little bit. If we can darken that. Now what I do want to do is get these and soften them up a little bit, because they're a little bit prominent for me, those. Right, now we come to this bit here, a bit closer to us, a bit under the roof there. I'm gonna see if I can get a bit of that under there, and then we've got, and it's like an eye shape when you're doing more closer up windows. You do that like that, and then flick it down. That's all you really need for these types of windows. You don't really need to like try and paint every little pane of glass. And there's a door there. Now, why would that have a door? Because it's got like a balcony, and we're going to paint that in now. See if I can. You can't see all the work that goes into the balcony and everything, because it fades um, into the rest of the building. But if you suggest it like that, then underneath there's going to be a bit of darkness there. There's a shadow. Now all we need to do is get some slightly more flamboyant colours here. Bit of orange even. Maybe even a bit of red. And that's like a balcony that we are stood on looking at it. And you know what, I think I might just add with this a bit of a flash of colour into it. And that means I'm going to add a bit more dark here. Alright. And alright, sure now. I think we're not far off done. Just a bit there. I'm just looking for things to tone down. Oh, that's very nice of you, Chrissy. Late, Gracie. Yeah, I'm nearly done. I just want to look back at as greens. See if I can strengthen. There's an area there that's a bit green. Put a bit of punchiness in the green there. And a bit more light punchiness in the foreground. And apart from that, I mean, I might be tempted. Let's do it. Let's go for it. It's only a painting. know, all I'm doing here is trying to get everything all to be one, you know, like flowing thing rather than lots of individual bits and bobs. And I think I'm done. So that's my painting. It's you know, half an hour, 45 minutes. I'll show you what I did uh, a while ago when I were on a bus trip. This side. When I were on a bus trip, I took this little pocket book that I've made of watercolour, and I painted it originally like that on this very rough paper. But it's such a small piece of paper, the roughness and what have you is probably too much for the size of the paper. So you can't get any real detail into the painting. But it was just an experiment, this book. Uh, if I do one of these again, I'll make it a lot bigger if I use this paper. But this is a much larger sized version of it, so I can be a bit more expressive. So roughly, this is the painting done. There might be a few tweaks I'll do to them later on, but apart from that, that's it, all done and sorted. So anyway, thank you for being here today. It's only a short one, but I've got some matters to attend to in a short while. So this is what I have to make do this week. So bye for now, and thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you later, and happy arting. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.